Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we're going to talk about the ReFrame Game, how to make skills easy and fun, or how to get rid of bad attitudes in your athletes. I'm Kyle Thalman, aka Coach Kyle. I'm an engineer, a coach, a philosophizer, something else. Oh, I was also a gymnast. I would develop the wizard coaching method because it works like magic. Yeah. Share it on Instagram, whatever you guys share it on. Anyway, today's video is about the ReFrame Game. The ReFrame Game is a technique I use to frame skills as easy or fun. Okay, this helps get rid of bad attitudes or attitudes where kids are fearful of skills. Basically, you use your words, your body language, and your tone of voice so that you can change the frames that your athletes are using. So what is a frame? A frame is how somebody is viewing or the context around how they view a situation or skill or whatever it is. So think about doing a backflip. In your mind, is it scary? Is it fun? Does it hurt a lot? Are you worried about landing on your head? Is it exciting? Is it painful? Is it easy? Could you do one totally right now? Depending on your view, your past experiences, you've kind of got this view of doing a backflip in your head. Now that would be your frame on backflips. Now, before we get into the frame game and how to use it and all the other stuff, I want to tell you that frames are really, really powerful stuff. Okay, so they gave this one study, they had a second grade teacher, or I think it was a group of second grade teachers, but they had told these, they gave everyone in the class a test at the beginning of the year, and they told these teachers which kids had extremely high Qs or really good work ethics. They're like, all right, these 5 kids, these guys are they're geniuses and they're going to knock your socks off. Lo and behold, at the end of the year, those kids did have higher test scores, better grades, better everything. They were model students. Now, the trick here is the researchers just pick kids at random. They're like, that one, that one, that one, that one. Those are your geniuses with super IQs and really hard work ethic. They were just random kids. They weren't actually the ones that tested the highest. But because the frame around them, the teacher was like, oh, these guys obviously know what they're doing. So they taught different, subconsciously, they taught differently to those students. Pretty crazy, right? So how do you implement this in your coaching? Well, first, you got to work on yourself. Okay, you have to change your own frames about teaching the skills you're teaching. Assuming that you're competent in teaching, if you don't know what you're talking about, go out and learn, ask another coach, yada, yada. But if you have a pretty good idea of what you're coaching, and you frame it as these kids are going to get it really easy, they're going to have a lot of fun, I'm going to have a lot of fun, it's going to be a blast, everybody's going to learn really quickly. Okay, if you start to believe that, that's your frame around coaching whatever skills. I mean, really, you got to really, really pay attention to your attitudes and the words you say while you're coaching, and especially your internal monologue. Be like, oh man, in the past I've messed this up too. I've fallen into that frame of, man, this kid is never going to get that skill. Okay, I'm sure you have. I mean, it's really easy to, they fail a lot, and you're like, oh man, this is never going to happen. That is a bad frame to be in. You need to run screaming from that frame. So what you do is you change those words in your head. You're like, you know what? Maybe he is having problems with it, but if I can just find the right correction, or we work a little bit more strength or flexibility, then he's going to get right away. Okay, I just got to find that right correction. Find the right way to phrase it, find the right drill, whatever it is. Just keep getting creative and be like, no, if I find the right thing, it'll work. Okay, we just got to find the right thing. Okay, never get into that, he'll never make it, because then you just kind of give up and just do the same old, and it doesn't work. Well, the funny thing is, when you adopt this kind of attitude, your kids will progress so much faster. They will learn so much faster. And it's not that you got better at coaching, you just have a different frame around the coaching. Once you've worked on all of your frames, then you can start working on their frames. So you pay attention to what they say, their body language, their tone of voice. And for example, if you're like, all right, everybody, get your grips on, we're headed to bars. And, one kid just slumps their shoulders and sighs. We're like, hey, what's up? Obviously, she has a bad frame around bars. She's going to be like, I hate bars. It's so painful on my hands. I can never get this one skill, Whatever it is, you got to address that and change her frame around that skill so that she can progress. One of the main frames that they have for skills is I could never get that skill, or it's just way too hard for me. Okay, you want them to switch that internal monologue to something like, I can get it, it's going to take a little bit more work. I just got to work a little bit more flexibility. I'm getting closer to it every day. Or have them like, look at the skills you've done so far. Like, a year ago, there's no way you could have done a press handstand, right? But, work hard and you did this, follow the drills, follow my instructions, and we made it. Or if they say a skill is scary, you can be like, that's what makes it fun. You're actually excited about it. I would say this all the time. They'd be like, I'm scared. And I'd say, I'm scared too. But that's what makes it fun. If it wasn't even a little bit scary, it'd be boring and then we wouldn't want to do this. That's what makes it fun. It's like a roller coaster. Okay, once they reframe, scary to exciting and fun, things get a lot easier. Another one, especially for competition seasons, is like, oh, I'm really nervous. Be like, no. You're just excited. Your body's getting you ready to do something really intense. That's just your body's reaction to like getting ready. Once they have that in their brains, they're no longer like, oh no, anxiety, panic attacks, I'm so nervous. You want to get away from that and say, no, you're excited. You're preparing your body. Your body's in a state of preparation. It's go time. It knows that. Okay. Once you switch that frame, you'd be surprised how much of those competition jitters get out the way. Because instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm so nervous and shaking, they're like, oh, I'm shaking, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. They flip that switch and it's way better frame to go into competitions with that kind of concept than, oh, I'm nervous, I'm gonna fall, all that other bad stuff. Another thing to think about is you can actually teach this technique to your older kids. I'd say once they're around 11, 12, 13-ish, you could teach them this concept of frames and teach them to listen to their own internal monologue. And, some of them might not get it and they might need to, mature a little bit. But the older kids can really pick up on this quick and start to change their own frames. And this is a really powerful technique to use not just in gymnastics or athletics, but in life in general. Okay, if they think, oh man, school is so boring, that's a bad frame, change it. When you're reframing, a key thing to keep in mind is you want to reframe in a way that gives the athletes responsibility or power to change or improve their situation in whatever it is. Okay, so you don't want a frame that's a powerless frame. You want them to be empowered by the frame, so they have control of the situation. Back to the old example, this kid will never get it. I'm putting all the responsibility on him. When I say, if I find the right correction or the right drill or the right conditioning, whatever, that's giving me the power to change the interaction to get better. We could go back to the school is boring frame in their life, okay? School is boring. Well, you can change that to, if I can find something interesting in what they're teaching, I'll have fun. Now that's a good frame because it gives them the power to find something interesting in what they're teaching. And if you're interested in what they're teaching, you're going to learn faster, you're going to learn better, it's going to be fun. That's a much more empowering frame than school is boring. Because you just say school is boring, that's putting all the responsibility on the school. School isn't, the school system isn't there to entertain you. Okay, that's your job. So if you take the responsibility of finding the interesting things in what the teachers are saying, you're going to learn better. That's a much more empowering frame. Question of the day. Any other thoughts about frame controlling with your athletes? How would you do it? Have you ever tried it? And, what was the outcome? If you like these videos, please subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Hit the little bell thing on the icon. Apparently that's important now. Share it on Facebook. Send it to all your friends on Twitter. Anyway, I'm Coach Kyle. Rock on.